Hey, we're in our series that's looking at the New Testament in our everyday lives. Hopefully, you're tracking along and reading the whole New Testament with us. The New Testament begins with what's known as the Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. They tell the real-world story of Jesus Christ when he walked here on earth. Jesus Christ comes to usher in the new covenant. He's the one who will change everything. If you want to get to know Jesus, you should really read the Gospels. You'll get a fresh insight into his words, his values, the things he did, and what he says will happen. Today's word is actually gospel, or euangelion, good news. The word gospel is used it means so much more though than just these 4 books of the Bible. The word actually means good news. And I don't know what you first think of when you think of the gospel, but I used to think it was the thing that you told somebody so that they could accept Jesus Christ and then go to heaven. Hey, have you shared the gospel with your friend? Yes, I've shared the gospel with my friend, and now he's accepted Jesus Christ and he's saved. That was the most common way I thought of the word gospel. Mark 1:1 says, the beginning of the gospel of Jesus Christ, the Son of God. The gospel of Jesus Christ, as Mark helps us to see, is actually not just a theological formula for salvation, like what I described. It's not a roadmap to heaven. It's actually a message of what Jesus has done, is doing, and will do in the fulfillment of his promises to bring a glorious, beautiful, just, and unifying kingdom, a kingdom where Jesus is Lord and Messiah. Here are 3 things that you need to know about the gospel. And maybe you didn't know some of these. But the first one is that the gospel is a message. The gospel, or good news, is the message of salvation that Christians believe was brought by Jesus Christ. It is the belief that through Jesus' life, death, and resurrection, people can be reconciled with God and have eternal life. In the New Testament, the term gospel is used to refer specifically to the message of Jesus Christ and the salvation that he offers, right? But it's not the way to think of it is it's not the kind of salvation where you just die and go to heaven. It includes eternal life, but it is a message of salvation that saves us completely. In fact, later on, we're going to be looking at the word salvation in more depth, and we're going to look at what it really means. But the first thing to know is, the gospel is a message. Secondly, the gospel is also an ethos to embody. It means that we're kind of meant to live our lives in accordance with the gospel. In Philippians 1:27, it says, "Only let your manner of life be worthy of the gospel of Christ, so that whether I come and see you or I'm absent, I may hear of you that you are standing firm in one spirit, with one mind, striving side by side for the faith of the gospel." Another way to say this is we're supposed to embody the message of the gospel. Here, the word gospel is conceived of as much more than just a story of God's activities. It is a standard, an ethos, an oath, a guide for the way Christians should live. It talks about high standards, best practices. The gospel represents something valued, and Christians anywhere and everywhere are expected to contribute positively to the nobility and sanctity of the standard of the gospel. So it's not just a message, it's an embodiment of the message. But thirdly, the gospel is a mission. The gospel is not just a doctrine of things that we are to believe and embody for ourselves. It is also a task. We are to go about proclaiming the gospel or the good news. In Mark 16, verse 15, it says, "And he said to them, go into all the world and proclaim the gospel to the whole of creation. We're supposed to take this message, embody it in our lives, and then bring it out to the whole world. So I hope today in your home group you'll have a good discussion about what the gospel means in reality. God bless.